All right, everybody, welcome in to 2024, y'all. 2024, a brand new year. And what can you say about 2024? And we're right here at Ktrk TV celebrating 70 years, y'all, since 1954 when KTRH hit the airwaves. And it wasn't here on the corner of Bissonnette and Buffalo Speedway. No, we started in 3rd Ward, y'all. That's right, this was our television station over in 3rd Ward, Ktrk. You know, what can you say about Ktrk? It was our station in 3rd Ward because they used to invite all the kids our age to come to the Ktrk show. And then what can you say about Cadet Don? Man, we were raised up here. And when they moved out of here 6 years later in 1960, when they moved over here to this new location, over here on Bissonnette and Buffalo Speedway, it was still part of our station. But let's go back to the history, y'all. Let's say the history, because that's important. 1954. This is 5 years since our first television station came on the air here in Houston. In 1949 is when the first television station came to Houston, and it was KPRC, which you guys know is Channel 2. And we celebrated their 70 years in 2019. We couldn't celebrate KHOU 70 years because they didn't start here in Houston. They started in Galveston. But this was the brand new station here in 1954. And what can you say? 1954 was such a good year because that's when they started analog TV. Analog TV means no more antennas, which we in 3rd Ward and the lower and the middle class, we didn't start getting analog until the early 60s. But in 54, they started analog. You say, what is analog? Well, you don't need an antenna. And the good thing about in 1954, when they started this station over at Channel 8, studio is what now. The first location was located on the University of Houston property. And they wanted to change the station when the station came in, and ABC came in with an affiliated, which was VHF. VHF is very high definition. And they only had 3 networks. And that was ABC, NBC, and CBS. The first network was NBC, the second was CBS, and the last network to come in was ABC. But now when they came here to open up this affiliate station here, or try to get the license here, they came in with the idea of using KTRH for call letters. Now let me remind you, all the call letters on one side of the Mississippi is W's. All the other call letters on the other side of the Mississippi River is called K's, and we in the K district. Now the people up on the East Coast, they in the W's. But here on the West Coast and the South, or you might well say the Southwest part of the United States, we are in the K's. Anyway, they wanted to start the station and name it KTRH. But they couldn't name it KTRH because they didn't have over 50% of the ownership of it. Because when they tried to get the FCC license, the president of KTRH Radio, which was 740 AM, and also the president of the Houston Chronicle, and also Mr. Judge Roy Hoffine. That's why when they came and got the station, they moved it over there at Channel 8, which was University of Houston property, where they set up their studio before they came on Bissonnette. But now, KTRH, they couldn't use the call letters because they say they didn't own all the 50%. They didn't own all the majority of the stock. So the FCC couldn't let them use that KTRH. So they came up with KTRK. See now, the KPRC, they could use theirs because the Harvey family had already owned the Houston Post, and they also owned KPRC Radio. So they could use KPRC call letters. but they could not use KTRH call letters over here at Ktrk, which was the channel 13. Now, everybody that was born in the 50s, we were raised up on TV. That's right, we were raised up on TV. So therefore, when I say we were raised up, everything we did, we looked at television. Because see, before the people in 1949, all the people that was born in the 40s and the 30s, they didn't have the luxury of looking at TV. They had to listen to the radio. But we, born in the 1950s, we got audio and video, which was considered as television. And one thing about over here at Ktrk, when they started the station, it was in 3rd Ward over there with Channel 8 is now. In fact, when they moved in 1960 over here to Bissonnette, Channel 8 and University of Houston took over that studio. And that's what it is today, a public television station, which is Ktrk, moved out here on Bissonnette. And they use Channel 8 as a public television station. But it's so nice to know that we're celebrating 70 years, y'all, of Ktrk here in Houston. And I am so proud that I know for a fact they have been so good to 3rd Ward. Because after all, they hired the first black news reporter, which was Charles Porter. They hired the first black female, which was Diana Fallis, to sit behind the desk. And they hired the first cameraman, finished out of Jack Yates, class of 1965, Andrew Patterson, Coach Patterson's son. I never forget it. And what can you say when they brought in Monday Night Football? You know, ABC was the last network to come on board. And when it came to ratings, they was the last network in ratings. They couldn't beat NBC, they couldn't beat CBS, they couldn't beat Walter Cronkite, and they sure couldn't beat Humphrey and Brinkley, they couldn't beat them guys. 70 years later, 2024, we're celebrating 70 years of Ktrk, broadcasting here for Houston. And I am so thankful and so grateful to know and be part of Houston and this television station, which have been serving Houston for 70 years, y'all. You know, and it was the last network, which was ABC, to come aboard on the FCC, which is considered as the VHF signal, which is very high definition. Channel 26, the first UFH came in 1967. That was when we had to use those little antennas to get channel 39. And that was in 1967. But it was not affiliated with the network. It was an independent television station. And then in 1971, we came in with another UFH, which means ultimate frequency modulation. And when they came in with this, then that's when Channel 26 came in. And later on, Fox bought that independent, and Fox became a network.